under the Good Neighbor Authority, and it's a collaboration between the Forest Service and Oregon Department of Forestry. What it is a forest restoration and fuels reduction project, which proposes active management treatments. An environmental assessment is going to be completed as a part of the project, and that's estimated to be completed of fall of next year. Where this project will occur is on Mackenzie River Ranger District, which is about 36,982 acres. Why is this project being proposed? It's being proposed to improve forest resilience, maintain and improve road systems, reduce wildfire risk, and support local economies. So what is the Good Neighbor Authority Act? The GNA was established in 2001. The state of Oregon implemented the act in 2016. What the GNA does is it allows for state forestry agencies to work in conjunction with the Forest Service to complete forest restoration projects across ownership boundaries. And ODF is one of the first Western states to sign a statewide agreement with the Forest Service. So an environmental assessment will be completed as a part of this project. And what an environmental assessment is it analyzes the potential impacts of proposed project activities on select environmental resources. We have a slide later that shows resources that are being looked at, but additional resource impacts can be identified and may be included in the project record. A lot of that comes back from feedback from scoping. So we'll be looking at more resources if it's necessary. So project purpose and need. There's 4 areas that were identified for the purpose and need for the project. The needs that would be addressed are providing sustainable timber supply for local economies, reducing wildfire risk through thinning and shaded fuel break treatments, improving forest health and diversity through active management, and maintaining and improving roads for safe access, recreation, and fire response. So this is a map that's an overview of the proposed project area, and it also shows the proposed treatments within the area. It's up to about 7,890 acres are proposed for treatment. So if you see these orange shaded areas, these units are where variable density thinning treatments are proposed to happen. This blue shaded areas you see along through here, that's where roadside shaded fuel breaks, those treatments will be happening. And then this red boundary line, that's just the project area boundary. So variable density thinning is one of the proposed treatments, the objective of which is to improve forest stand structures, species diversity, and ecological resilience. This is done through selectively thinning overcrowded forest stands. Thinning these stands creates a mixture of tree ages and spacing within the habitat. It also reduces susceptibility to insects, disease, and fire by creating more, less overcrowding in areas and more space in between. It also promotes the growth of large diameter trees and understory development. As a result of this treatment, you'd have a more structurally open, diverse, and climate resilient area or forest. Roadside shaded fuel breaks is the next treatment option. The objective of this is to reduce wildfire intensity and improve firefighter safety along key access routes. The approach to this is to thin vegetation along major roads or corridors, and the thinning occurs within 150 feet of each side of the road. The canopy shade cover is retained in order to reduce undergrowth regeneration. It creates access routes for firefighting and evacuation. So as a result of this treatment option, it creates safer corridors for suppression, operations, and reduce wildfire spread and potential. Road system improvements, this would be done in order to ensure sustainable access for forest management, fire response, and recreation activities. This is done through maintaining existing roads that are currently used for harvest and recreation. Temporary roads would only be created where needed, when needed. Those temporary roads would be decommissioned once no longer in use. That would be done to minimize environmental impacts. Drainage improvements and culvert maintenance would happen along the roads within the project area to protect water quality and reduce erosion. Results of this is improved safety and reduce long-term disturbance to soil and water resources. So there are 4 key resources that will be analyzed as potential project impacts for implementing the project or potentially impacted from the project activities. So that would be wildlife and botany, so looking at sensitive species protection, hydrology and soils, so riparian and erosion management, cultural resources, survey and preservation of archaeological sites, and then socioeconomic, recreation, and local economy and access impacts. So the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969, or NEPA, that basically requires any federal action to do a review process of potential environmental impacts that projects can have on resources. And so we are following this guideline when creating the EA. It falls under the NEPA guidelines. And so currently, right now, we are under identify purpose and need and conduct public scoping. That's the first step in the process. So public involvement is important. The public input helps shape how the project is designed and implemented. The feedback we receive from the public and the community helps us to refine treatment areas, method, and different mitigation measures. We have an opportunity for people to leave comments. Those comments will be reviewed, and if you reference supporting materials in the comments you submit, just please include the source and explain the relevance of that source to the project. And just note that comments received, including the name and addresses of those who commented, will be considered part of the public record for this project. So the public comment period ends December 26th. And you can submit comments either at today's meeting through email, which is at the project website. It has to be submitted through Kara or Kara? Kara. Or you can physically mail your comments in to the Mackenzie River Ranger District at the address listed below. So the next steps that will be taken is additional resource surveys. There's additional resources that need to be assessed. Those surveys will be done. Incorporating public comments into the writing of the EA. Completing analysis of potential impacts, and then a draft EA will be completed in fall of 2026. Oh, spring? Okay, spring of 2026.
I don't think so.
Oh, we could go back to that slide.